And then just going back to your comment around tennis, I always think that, if you think about some of the most mentally strong sports and business people of all time, I think Djokovic is definitely part of the conversation. I mean, unbelievable mental fortitude. But I'm interested to know your view around that, and particularly, business leaders as well, or companies that really stand the test of time. Be interested to hear your thoughts around that as well as the sports piece.
So, I mean, I agree. There's it's not a coincidence that some of the three great tennis players we see in these times, with him, Federer, and Nadal. I mean, they are up there all the time, and that is probably the difference between good and great, is that kind of consistency under pressure.
Yeah.
We see so many sports people and business people as well having a great day, having a great week, having a great month, having a great year, and then they disappear. And probably the comment I would be making on that one, which I'm very passionate about, is because it does come back to mindset. It's, first of all, it is hard to back up a great result. I mean, I notice after every amazing race, not that I have that many, but take the World Championships, I came 11th. I was awarded the Ultra Performance of the Year award in Australia that year. So I'm now officially the fastest ever Australian at 24-hour World Championships. So that it was an amazing achievement, and that weighs very heavy on you the race after. It's really, really hard, because in a way there is that kind of, first of all, there's a part within one which says, now I know how to be great. And that kind of is exactly what leads you to the next disaster, of really puts you down to earth, makes you human again, and it's back to the drawing board of saying, okay, now I have to put the work back in. And what those guys really are good at is just focus on the process. I think in Zen you would say, all you do is carry water and chop wood. That's what you do before enlightenment, and that's what you do after enlightenment.
Yeah.
And these guys do that really well. They chop water and carry. They chop wood and carry water, and keep doing that all the time. And who of us is really able to do that after a great achievement, to say, okay, now let's just in a steady way keep on working, and do that. So yeah,
fantastic. So on that, how important do you think it is to have a really good understanding of your values, and then to really live your values? Because I certainly see organizations every day, and some of the greatest organizations, they really live and breathe their values, and they get their people to build the value, and everything is set front and center of that. I guess Amazon's arguably the ultimate example of that, but other great businesses such as Aussie Broadband, very, very values-driven organizations.
Yeah. So I'll expand. I completely agree with you. I'll just expand what you just said. So I think you have to be very clear about your values, and really have to align them, because each one of us is aware of our own values. If I ask you what's important to you, it doesn't take you that long to come up with your top three. It's something we all somehow feel and know. It's way harder to fully live them. And that's where I would like to expand on, saying, what are your limiting beliefs? Because typically, so for example, when I started ultra running in 2014, 2015, one of my values was excellence.
Yeah.
But living excellence, if I really look at it from now, is one of my limiting beliefs was, I am not good enough. Now you directly see that I am not good enough is opposite of excellence. Now, in one way, there is a driving force which leads towards excellence, of saying, well, if I don't believe that I'm great, then I will work hard and I'll get there.
Yep.
But also, when things get tough, and I see like, well, I will fail in this race, something goes wrong, I'm not good enough, can easily lead to giving up. And that's what I noticed as well. I was giving up a little bit too easy. And I'm giving up is not living the value of excellence. It just isn't. So, and that's what I mean with organizations, is whatever your values are, to what extent extent are you really living them? So what beliefs are still in place collectively, which keep you away from what you're trying to do? And that's very common, that we actually go in the opposite direction. And that's what employees feel when engagement scores go down. They say, yeah, we talk about something, but then I experience a completely different world. That is very common.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. And we've got some more questions coming through. So talking about excellence and your 22% gain, Matthew wonders if on reflection, what was your 22% made up of? Was it a lot of percenters, or was it something else? What was magic?
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity to just share the quick story of turning right, because that will give you a sense. There were certainly, so Matthew, yes, there were 1%ers in there, but it wasn't 22 1%ers. There was big stuff in there, and that was really a game changer. And the game changer is what I would call turning right.
Yep.
And I've captured in the book. So the story which happened before I started running ultra marathons was I was very German. I was very controlled, very disciplined, very much on 1%ers, and I was good with 1%ers. It's like head down, get stuff done, regardless what. So not necessarily a very pleasant guy to always work with, because I was very task driven, not necessarily people driven, and I got stuff done. Now, with that mindset, I found a coach, and he noticed what I was missing, and he said, "Kai, you're just too disciplined. Just let go of the discipline and do something you haven't planned." So he came up with a mystery run where I had to run with a friend of mine. So I was picked up in Albert Park at my house, and I just had to follow this guy, this friend of mine, and run whatever he was going to run. So if he was going to run fast, I was going to run fast, but never knowing for how long he would go run fast for. And my fear was he would break me. When is it fair to give up? You hear that voice already, you hear the limiting belief. I was absolutely terrified before that first mystery run. Corey, this friend of mine, picked me up. We went through the front garden. Corey turned right. I had to turn right to follow him. And I noticed before we even got started, I had never, ever in my life turned right at that garden gate in front of my house. Because every time I left the house, I was turning left, did my stuff, came back, repeat next day. Groundhog Day. You said it before, David. It was Groundhog Day. And it was that kind of realization of saying, I'm here chasing excellence, but actually what I'm really doing is I'm staying safe. I am doing the same thing over and over and over again, and hope it will get me to a different outcome. And we know that is the definition of insanity. But that was me, and I bet you that is very many of us. Is we always do the same and think it gets us to a different place. And that's what the 22% were made of. Is I started, metaphorically speaking, saying, where can I turn right? Where can I do something which is different to my default, different to what I've done? And it actually, my rational brain says, it doesn't make a difference if you turn right in front of your house or if you turn left. How would that make you a better runner? Let me tell you guys, it makes all the difference, because it's the mental different game you're playing. And in the World Championships, one of the metaphoric right turns was I completely trusted my my support crew, the coach, and I was an absolute team player. Whereas in other races, I was more like, yeah, I'm here, and you somehow serve me because I'm running, and you're somehow my support crew, but somehow beneath me. Whereas in that race, we were equal. I took guidance from them. It was playful. Playfulness was another part of it. I was absolutely relaxed. I was there in flow. I was just observing my performance rather than doing anything, and it was amazing. The laws of physics didn't really apply in that race.
Yeah, fascinating. Because I guess you talk about being task orientated, and a lot of people, and I do it myself, you do a to-do list each day, or you have a look at your calendar and you refresh your memory around what you've got on for that particular day. And these are all perfectly normal and sensible things to do. But it's then getting some time in your day, and we encourage people to spend time listening to a podcast or going for a walk, just having some time to daydream, have a think, listen to podcasts, whatever it might be, just something different to get that more holistic view around what's going on in their lives.
Yes. Yes. I just what I'm sensing from what you've just said is this kind of do something very different. I mean, when you're a runner, don't even just focus on running. It opens up our horizon, and don't underestimate somehow not having anything which is targeted. So just even a walk in nature, where you say, how can a walk in nature help me being a good leader? Well, it can. It's how often do we just spend time which is a bit unstructured. That was a right turn for me of I'm wasting my time being unstructured. No, I'm actually not wasting it. I'm really recharging and suddenly come up with the best ideas I've ever had. So
I mean, it's sort of meditative experience. I mean, running, walking, they can be meditative. I'm interested in yoga. That's obviously meditative, learning what comes from within and how you react to something with all the chaos that's going around.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Diana wonders how you balance training, work, family, personal responsibilities, not after life hacks, but rather principles you might follow, beliefs, if you like.
Yes, it's so. First of all, I noticed the busier I am, the more I can actually juggle. So, and I don't mean by busyness, I actually mean by almost fulfilled busyness. So, when I was training for the World Championships, I have no clue how I did it now because I was at Woolworths, was a senior leadership position, had a big team to take care of, living in Sydney with my partner living in Melbourne. So we were back and forth. At the same time, I'd started writing my book. I was training for the World Championships, and at the same time also doing accreditation training for my next career move, which was coaching. And I've no clue how I actually did that, other than somehow being in some sort of flow. That's probably the principle. If you ask what's the principle, is don't get stressed. It's where is the downtime in terms of where are you mentally recharging. I do that by meditating on a daily basis. It really helps me.
Yeah.
And it's and then the second thing probably is it cuts out, the more there is on, the more I just have to cut out stuff which is just not worth my time. And yes, it's nice being in front of the TV, but if there's so much on, well, I might not have TV time because I prefer having some kind of time with friends and with my partner rather than somehow just watching TV mindlessly. So it's yes, it is. There are sacrifices, absolutely, but when you're clear what you really want, you can sacrifice, and then you can also. A third principle is probably nothing is eternal. It might be a 3-month block where you say this is full on, but then book a nice holiday afterwards. Have some downtime, and that's what I'm doing religiously after every big race. I've got downtime. It's for a month. I'm just not big on running.
Yeah. And I think it's also, and I think you can take this into the business world, it's accepting that none of us are perfect. We never will be. We're all, so it's don't beat yourself up if things don't work out. If you keep doing the right things, or, if you're training for a run, for example, and you think, I want to eat some chocolates tonight or have a pizza or whatever, then that's okay. No one's perfect. And you just need to sort of don't beat yourself up if things don't quite go to plan. Just be sort of within yourself that you've given it a good shot and you're going to go again in the next day.
Agree. It's find the balance. It really, balance is a very important word, which I think not many people get that right. And you listen to what I just said and you say, yeah, Kai, but are you balanced? Well, quite often I'm not, but it's regularly I find something which helps me to feel balanced again. And that's important. What is your routine to find balance again?